One day, Jesus and his companions were sitting somewhere. He said to his companions,
"Oh my comrades, there are many treasures in the world that people are unaware of. Let's go to the desert today. I want to show you one of those treasures."
That day, Jesus and his companions left the city and went to the desert. When they left the city, they saw a ruin that was completely abandoned. Ironically, they found a chest there, which was full of precious jewels. The companions of Jesus were very happy that they were able to find such a great treasure so easily. At the same time, Jesus said,
"The treasure I was talking about is something else. What you see now is not a treasure. It is only suffering and has no result except suffering and pain. Now, set forth into the wilderness because I will tell you its secret on return time."
After hearing the words of Jesus, the companions left the jewelry box and went out of the ruins. After 2 days of walking, they reached a large desert. There they saw a young man sitting sad and alone on a rock and watching the desert. Jesus went forward and greeted the young man. He asked him,
"Why are you sitting here sad and alone? Share your heart with us. Maybe we can find a solution for you."
The young man replied,
"Please don't ask about my pain. My pain has no cure."
Jesus asked,
"How is this a pain for which no cure can be found?"
The young man replied,
"There is a king in our city whose daughter I have fallen in love with. When I went to propose to her, the king said, 'You must bring a chest full of jewels so that I can accept you as a groom.' I come from a very poor family. Amassing such a large fortune is beyond my power."
Jesus said kindly,
"Don't be sad. My friends and I are all by your side and we will help you."
Then Jesus pointed to the ruin that had a chest full of jewels inside and said,
"There is a large chest full of jewels there. Go to the ruin and take that chest to the king's house so you can marry his daughter."
When the young man heard this, he got on his horse and quickly went to that ruin. When he reached the ruins and saw the box, he was very happy. He was so happy that he could not fit in the earth and the air. He felt that he could achieve his dream. The same dream that was impossible for him to achieve. Meanwhile, a strange question occupied his mind. He remembered that the man who guided him to this jewelry box, he and his companions were all barefoot. He said to himself,
"They knew such a treasure. So why were they poor? They ate simple food and their clothes were patched. When they themselves could own this wealth, why did they give it to me? God, what is the answer to this strange and wonderful mystery?" A thirsty man standing on the seashore.
The young man himself did not have an answer to this question. He was sitting next to the chest and was struggling with himself to find an answer to this question until he lost his patience. Eventually, he left the box alone and went back to the desert to find the wise man again. He was moving as fast as the wind, and his enthusiasm was increasing every moment. Finally, after a day of searching, the young man found Jesus and his companions in the same desert. Jesus and his companions were sitting there. When he saw the young man, he asked,
"Oh young man, why did you come back? Aren't you the king's groom now?"
The young man replied,
"I found that jewelry box and all my problems are solved. But I have a question that has troubled my mind. You who know such wealth, then why are you deprived of it? Why are you barefoot? Why are your clothes patchy, and why do you eat very simple food? Tell me what made you so needless. Tell me where your eyes are looking that you carelessly have such a great wealth. What is this position that has convinced the ambitious eagles of the world to the smallest things?"
Jesus smiled and got up, then said while looking at the sky,
"We are also in love like you. But we are suitors for the heavenly bride. We have a gem that is much superior and more valuable than these. That's why gold and jewels with us are no different from stone and wood. Our method is love for God, humanity, kindness and honesty. This bride is so beautiful that we can't think of anything else but him. Anyone who has such wealth like us will not need earthly riches. That's why we gave you that jewelry box."
When the young man heard these words, he fell more in love and madder than before, because he had never heard such words from anyone until that day. While his eyes were full of regret, he said to himself, "If you are smart, you will learn from these words." After that, he turned to Jesus and said,
"O wise man, why didn't you propose to me with that incomparable beloved?"
Jesus answered,
"Because you himself didn't want to. You wanted the king's daughter. We also helped you to get the king's daughter."
At the same time, the young man's eyes filled with tears, and he wept over the life he had spent with neglect. While crying like a spring cloud, he knelt before Jesus and said,
"O men of truth, after this, accept me also among you. I don't need a jewelry box anymore. What I need now is you. Please hold my hand and help me."
When Jesus saw this scene, he said to his companions,
"This is the same treasure I wanted to show you. Anyone who gets so excited and disturbed by a question and struggles to find the answer. A young one who can give up the wealth of the world to find the truth. He is the real treasure, and there is no treasure in the world higher than this."
After that, Jesus turned to the young man and said,
"Welcome to our group, friend. Surely we will not find a better friend than you."
Jesus and his companions stayed in the desert that night. The young man was also very happy that he had found such friends. He felt being rich with Jesus and his companions. The next day, they left that desert. After a while, when they reached the same ruins, they saw a scene that surprised them. The jewelry box was still there, but 3 people were killed next to it. A jug of water and some food were also seen around them. The companions all asked, "Who has killed them? So why didn't the murderer take jewelry box with him?" Jesus answered,
"If you are a little smart, you can guess from the signs that exist in the scene. One of them was killed with a sword, but there are no wounds on the other two. This is the secret I promised to reveal to you on return time. As I said before, what you see is not a treasure, it is only suffering. Now listen as I tell you the story of this suffering. These three people were friends and fellow travelers until they reached this ruin on the way. Ironically, here they see this jewelry box and decide to divide it into 3 equal parts. They sit around the box for so many hours and make big dreams. Dreams such as building a palace, traveling around the world, or launching trade caravans. Meanwhile, they realize that they are starving and have nothing to eat. So 2 of them stay in the ruins to take care of the box, and one of them goes to the city to get water and food. An hour later, these 2 people get caught up in greed. They decide to kill the person who went to the city, in order to get more jewels. By the way, the person who went to the city to prepare food also makes the same decision, but all the jewelry will be his own. So he pours poison into the water and food and goes to his friends with the poisoned food, unaware that they are lying in wait for him. When he steps into the ruins, his friends attack from behind and kill him by surprise. Then they sit down and eat the food he brought. As a result, they will also die like him, and this treasure chest will not reach any of them. Yes, my comrades, it is not easy for everyone to ignore a chest full of jewels. You must have a big soul and a pure heart to be able to do this. Most of the people in this world are not trustworthy because they commit any kind of betrayal for the sake of wealth. But you can trust this young man and entrust your life to him with complete confidence. That is why I say the real treasure is this young man, and such treasures are rare in the world. Therefore, the real treasure is in the existence of the people themselves, which can be reached with honesty and integrity. But without knowing it, they look for the treasure in the mountains and plains, and in the end, they kill each other because of it.